Welcome to Monza and a split qualifying format that is coming up for us here. This is going to be a very exciting, unpredictable session. 10 minutes apiece. Let's get ready to get going. Set then for a very different qualifying format, the Monaco style, in order to stop the drivers getting out of control. Welcome to all of the action for qualifying for the final weekend of the FIA Formula 3 Championship in 2025. Well, the circuit goes around the historic Monza Royal Park. It's 3.599 miles long, 11 turns in total, and action zones that you wouldn't believe. It's a fast, flowing, abrasive circuit. And with that being, it's a low downforce track, soft compound tyre. Lap record to beat is a 1:38.287 come pole time. So watch out for that coming up shortly. That's going to be an interesting one. Low downforce, high fuel and brake, medium on the tyre wear as well. That's always going to be something to keep an eye on. Let's cross over then to our colleagues trackside to get ready for the session.
Two groups, and we are getting ready to go for two 10-minute sessions here to call you through all the action. Myself, Chris McCarthy, and a welcome Piers Price.
Yep, looking forward to this qualifying session. Always an interesting one here at Monza, even more so now we've got a slightly amended qualifying format. We had it here last year, splits the groups, the whole field in half, and it's in attempts to keep things a little bit less chaotic. It changed a huge amount last year with 11 drivers getting penalties for travelling too slowly. I think they'll be a bit more wise to it this year as we have our first drivers out on circuit. First driver on the lane already. I was expecting everyone to wait around a little bit. Shortened qualifying sessions as well. 13 minutes was last year. Two groups this year, just 10.
Yeah, let's go through how this is working then. So the drivers of 30 drivers have been split into two groups of 50. They have been split by their numbers. We've got Group A, which is going out on track now. They are the odd numbered drivers, and the even numbered drivers are Group B. How do we decide who goes first? It's probably one of the first questions you might be asking. Well, that was decided in a random ballot which was drawn in drivers' briefing yesterday, and the group that came out was Group A to go first. So they're going to be taking to the track first. They're going to go and set the pace. Group B will go out first. What happens after that? Well, essentially, the drivers are fighting for what row of the grid they will start on. The quicker group will form the pole side of the feature race, what is formerly the inside row of the grid, if you like, first, third, fifth, so on, and then the slower group will form the other side. We will kind of swap that round in terms of the top 12 for the sprint race. So the sixth fastest driver in the slower group will take the reverse grid pole for the sprint race. So the two fastest driver in each group will be on the front row for the feature race come Sunday. Let's go and hear from our champion while we are waiting to get a little more activity.
This is something very different from what I had experienced before in F4 and then Formula Regional. So yeah, this is for sure something that I'm much more used to. And then probably with the tires in the races, how to manage it. Because it's quite different. Obviously, I think we saw in some races always a bit too much in deck. But I think I learned a lot from that, and I think will be key points for next year. And yeah, and then again, I think winning another championship is always good for the driver, for confidence, and also I think we always learn more how to manage the weekends, manage the championship, how you can do it to win. And I think this is something that I can apply for next year. And of course, the target is always to arrive and win, but you never know. So again, I will just keep the same approach, focus on myself, learn as much as I can, prepare well this season, and yeah, try to do another strong year.
Back-to-back FIA Formula 3 titles. We saw Oscar Piastri doing similar things when he won Formula Europe. Really fantastic job. Becomes the second Brazilian champion, the second Ferrari driver academy member to win the title after Rob Schwartzman. The kids go on all day. But let's go to the session in hand, Piers. People might be wondering why drivers are waiting around in pit lane. We did see some drivers using the carryover medium tyre in the practice session earlier. 30 minutes we had last year. We can see why they're now reducing this session to 10, because drivers don't really want to use a lot of this session too much. They only really want to complete one run.
It's going to be a quick blast around, really, I think, is what we're going to be witnessing here for this segment of qualifying, which I'm not too against, in all honesty. It's going to be quite a smooth run, but everybody knows me, fair's fair. This should be a one-lap shootout. If we're going to have this silly segment of qualifying where it's here, there, and everywhere, then it should be the case if it's single lap, then it's fair for everybody. But them's not the rules we play by at the moment, and this is going to be the situation we have to run in with. Roman Belinsky on top at the moment, but Nikita Johnson's a 1:49.058. Now, we've also got the complete running up here in the commentary box and the timing tower, so that'll come in handy to know exactly who the groups are going to be. But yeah, first cars out there on the circuit now, setting in their deltas.
This qualifying session as well. We actually saw drivers able to improve in practice on their second lap on the tyre in practice, because it's not too high energy in the tyres here at Monza.
Now, no surprise to see Nikita Johnson is getting on with this, given his lack of experience. Roman Belinsky, likewise, because he caused a red flag earlier, and that brings me to my next point. His red flag was caused by a bit of a mistake by him, but that was compounded by the fact gravel had been thrown onto the circuit. His flying lap's going to probably come to an end here. Now he's reaching all this traffic. Roman Belinsky will be hoping the road clears, but gravel was thrown onto the track at Escari, and that led him into a mistake, spinning him round into the gravel.
Yeah, exactly. It was hard to tell whether he made the mistake and the gravel tipped him over the edge into the barrier, or whether the gravel caused the issue and then he lost the car, which saw him in the barrier. No hard hit. Just a brush against the wall as his teammate there, Louis Sharp, looks on for Rodin. But Belinsky was actually fastest at that stage of the session. He went purple in the first sector, green in the second, and that's a mistake at the start of sector 3 due to the gravel. Saw an early end to his session, didn't get as many laps in, but he's trying to get out there early to get a feel for things. But unfortunately, his first flying lap was blocked. Now we're looking like we're going to go racing this time. Keep an eye on the times. We're looking for times in the low 1:38s, maybe even high 1:37s for pole position, is my estimation.
And now the game of chess begins on who is going to get the toe. Drivers are going to be waiting to try and get a toe from the driver ahead. It's worth up to around half a second, 7/10 if you get a good one, and that is why everyone is looking down at their steering wheel. I just need to slow down here. After you, no, after you. But Roman Belinsky is getting on with this. His lap heavily affected by traffic.
So they're going to warm up the next lap. They're playing games.
Yeah, they're all playing the games out there. None of them want to go in straight away on the overall delta times, as you can see. Back at home as well, we've opened up the combos cam so that we can fade to it and away from it during this session, because then you get to see the whole data point operational with us, and this is just the most bizarrest of sessions to come through. But Johnson looking good.
3/10. The difference between no toe and a good toe can be anywhere between half a second and 8/10 of a second.
Wow.
So you'd much rather an average lap with a good toe than a good lap with no toe. And when we say the toe, it's the slipstream. It's the turbulent air that's being pushed out of the way by the cars in front. It can cause understeer in the medium high-speed corners, but you gain more, all of that and more back by the kind of front punching a hole in the air and reducing the drag. So you gain a lot of speed in the straight.
At the moment, it looks like one lap only. It looks like one lap only.
And there we go. And there we go. Because of everyone searching for a toe, we're down to one flying lap to go for this. So here they come out of Biscari. Are we going to see drivers now going for it, or are we going to see more drivers in search for toe? It looks like in the 23, Voisin has just gone for this. So has the number 17 of Tramnitz. Them two are not really bothered about a toe. They're just going to go after a flying lap here, and off they go. But it will just be one flying lap here as we head across the line. Tim Tramnitz, one of the drivers trying to get on the championship podium.
One flying lap, but not for Voisin or Tramnitz. They got over the line just in time, so if they complete this lap at full pushing speed, they will get a second one in. Tramnitz could be in a very good position. He's got a nice distant toe from Callum Voisin ahead. He's going to get a second flying lap in as well. So keep an eye on the sprint winner in this event last year, Tim Tramnitz from JBMotorsports. We're right on board with him now, flat out through Curva Grande, up towards the Roger chicane. This is a critical braking zone in here, tricky technical sector. He's fast in the first sector so far, but it's been immediately bested by Giusti, who's then actually into Kubizak now fastest. Clouting the curve through Roger goes Tramnitz. Looks so far so good. Coaxing it through Lesmo 1, medium speed corners. Voisin on through the gravel on the exit Lesmo 1. That'll hurt his lap, but luckily for him, he's going to have another fast lap attempt after this one. Now, flat out down towards Ascari. The second sector ends just before the braking zone.
Yeah, and let's just see if that's going to be a powerful lap time for them then as they come in towards it. Down into Ascari, Tramnitz is up. Middle sector is good. 32.9. Giusti also on a better improved lap time at the moment. So they are going to give it as much oomph as they possibly can as things stand as they come down towards the Parabolica. Let's just see then, 15th of this session. Let's see if that's going to be an improvement or not. Over the line they come then. The first segment of qualifying will be concluded. And it is Voisin 139. Tramnitz 138.9, Giusti 138.28 coming through, 138.6 into Pruvazak, Badoa goes up into fourth, Johnson goes there, Belinsky up to second, Kamara on top as he comes through, Ugo Ukachuri goes into second position, fantastic lap time from him, 92,000 off, but it is the champion, Rafael Kamara, provisionally on pole position, 138.520, Ukachuru. Then Solov, Leon, into Pruvazak, Belinsky, Giusti, TFL now, Tramnitz, Zagazita, Van Hopen, Badoa, Boya, and Stromstedt, and Johnson coming through, and Tramnitz getting into the lap time in because he was able to run it across the line. So Giusti and Tramnitz have got into the lap time, and they are using it together. So does Callum Voisin. Tramnitz is up in the first sector, 32.1, as he'll activate the DRS. Down now, underneath the old banking towards the Ascari chicane. What's the second sector delta time? It's 8 thousandths off of Kamara. This toe is going well. Gusti's off as well by 21 thousandths, so it's nothing done yet. Everything's still to play for as they come down the back straight once more, trying to hook up whatever works on this circuit. Really aggressive, feisty behavioural stuff down the brakes. Tramnitz as track limits on Kamara. Kamara's track limits has gone. So that means that Ukachura has provisional pole, but Tramnitz should be able to take it away over the line. 5th place at the moment. Voisin goes 10th. Tramnitz doesn't improve. It's Ugo Ukachuru who has provisional pole position here at Monza. So Kamara has dropped all the way down. Well, is Kamara dropped out? Yeah, Kamara's got no time. Kamara, the champion, will start both races from the back of the field. Well, that's something we don't see every day.
American driver ahead of Tasana Polwinter, Pruvazak, Roman Belinsky, Alessandro Giusti, Tim Tramnitz, Lauren Van Hopen. Well, we're in for a grandstand race, that's for sure. rapid. Goes to the back, and here is White.
Yeah, turn 5 was where he exceeded track limits. That's the exit this course. So turn 4 to the left, turn 5 to the right. Okay, the apex, and a big slide through the middle. Actually, we had a lot of time doing that. He's got 2 wheels on the gravel, but still, fact is a fact. Watch that front tyre. Yeah, just past the white line. So all 4 wheels were off the circuit. Lap time deleted. He was once again the fastest. We've seen that so many times this year. He's taken multiple pole positions. Would have remained to be seen whether it's pole position or the second place. That will be decided after Group B. But a disappointment.
You are P1 of the group. They didn't improve enough, and Camara is lap time deleted, okay? You are P1 of the group.
Well, Prama's last pole position was Monaco last season. Will this put them back on pole position for the first time since then? Sanopol in Chapumazak. What a result for the Thai driver. Roman Belinsky, that is a great result for him as well, especially after what happened to him in practice earlier. He brought out the red flags and he was down on running as well, and that is a really good result for him. We've seen him on the front row this season. Giusti as well has a great chance to make some places in this championship. Tim Chambliss might be slightly disappointed it didn't work out on that lap. He was a little bit close to Callum Voisin. I don't know if that may have affected things. Lawrence Van Hoopen will be on the front row for the sprint race, have a good opportunity to end his season on a high there. Brando Badaway just missed out. Well, the number 5 going wide at turn 5. And now he's going to have to do some overtaking. We haven't actually seen him have to do much of that times this season.
But you know what? He's won the championship already. This could be quite an entertaining watch for all of us at home for our champion who's already been crowned. Kamara has to go through the field and make some moves. His weekend is not over.
Not at all. Not at all. Ugo Ugochukwu, fastest. And the time that the next group will have to beat is a 1:38.6. Remember, another group still to come. And the time now they will chase is a 1:38.613. We're only halfway there. But it's Ugo Ugochukwu fastest from Sanopol in Chapumazak, Roman Belinsky, Alessandro Giusti, Tim Chambliss, Lawrence Van Hoopen will reverse to the front row of the sprint race. Which side will he start on? We'll find out. Brando Badaway just missed out. Well done to Keaton Johnson next after that. Outside the top 10 places, James Walton, James Headley, Nicola Lacorte, Nicola Marangelli, Rafa Kamara will go from the back. Remember, that is all what row of the grid that they will start on. Behind Nikita Johnson was Christian Ho. Callum Voisin was 10th. But all Ugo can do now, Piers, is watch on. They're used to this qualifying format in other championships. Ugo's come from Freca. They use this qualifying format there all the time. So they would have been used to this, but not this season. It's a bit of a weird one, jumping out the car and waiting. All the rest of the drivers who haven't quite competed yet are now going to jump in the car and chase a time. Which side would you prefer to be on? Would you prefer to be the Group A drivers having just set your time, or the Group B drivers now going out?
No, my gut tells me to lean towards going out first because you've got a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Whereas these drivers now, they know they've got a time to chase, and if you're down, then it can play into it. But this is where the more mentally strong drivers potentially have a slight advantage. They won't be affected by that sort of thing so much. Some drivers even, you know, like we're looking at Noel Leon there, maybe he would have asked him not even to tell him. Just, you know, he's sitting in the car ready to go. Don't tell me what's happened in the first session. I'll go out there, try and be fast in my group, and that'll put me on the front row or pole if I go quick enough. So, you know, that's different strategies that teams and drivers can play. Here's a driver that needs a good result and wants a good result. Martinius Stenshaw, certainly 5th in the standings, mathematically in the hunt for second. It needs a pretty much perfect weekend and a few issues for the likes of Boyer and Solov, but he wants to finish this season strong as the McLaren and back to June.
And it's delivery on his car as well. He wants to be impressing the guys in McLaren. Ugo, part of that same development program as well. Noel Leon's in this. Noah Stromstead, Charlie Burtz, Tukatapanen, Mary Boyer, Nicola Solov, Stenchon, GRG will take a 5-place grid drop in this race for his contact with Ugo. We've got Delpino, Noel, Dominguez, Sharp. Fernando Barrichello getting ready to take part in his first qualifying session in FIA Formula 3. Brad Benavides, Matias Agazeta. The tunes are pumping the atmosphere is rising. The FIA Formula 3 drivers now wait in their cars for that green light. 10 minutes will be ahead of us. We may wait just a little bit before a few cars roll down pit lane. We saw a couple of drivers go early there, Roman Belinsky being one of them. It seemed to work okay for him, but most of the field came out a little bit after that.
Got like 2.5 minutes till green light is scheduled to go, so the drivers just getting themselves mentally prepared, getting themselves in the zone. A lot of these drivers will use visualization to try and get themselves in the zone, so they will have taken the references from practice, they will have done a lot of sim work behind the scenes at home or with their teams. They'll know where the lap time needs to be, they'll know where they need to brake, they'll look to a video from last year, video from practice, and then added that with their experience they've had in practice, and they'll be thinking, right, based on the circuit performance, how much grip's coming up, because let's not forget this morning when they went out and practiced, the circuit was slightly damp at the start of the session, there was damp patches, it was fairly green, whereas there'll be a lot more grip in this session. I mean, what, a 38.6 is fairly quick. Actually, we went a bit quicker than that in practice, but that was after a fair few laps, wasn't it? Whereas these drivers will have one, maybe only 2 laps. And do you know what? Some of the teams might have learned in this Group B, might have learned from that first session. The drivers that managed to get the second laps in had another shot at getting that fast lap in, and it worked for Giusti, nearly worked for Tramnitz. Boysin also managed to get himself up a little bit.
He had his first lap time deleted, and I think that played a big part in his results, in all honesty. But I think you're absolutely right. I think everyone would be more pushing towards we need 2 laps in, because they would have felt that was a wasted opportunity. Not only that, but Kamara on a second flying lap could have put right that track limit penalty.
Exactly, you're putting all of your eggs very much in one lap's basket. You give yourself just the one flying lap. And yes, you know, in Formula 1, that's what the drivers have to do, ultimately. So it's good training, but, you know, ultimately, in Formula 3, to be successful in Formula 3, you need to do the lap when you can. And we found this weekend so far the Pirelli softs can hold on for a second flying lap on that first heat cycle. So, you know, why wouldn't you if you can?
Yeah, I think so. I completely agree. I think we're going to see more drivers pushing to get to the line and get 2 laps in the bag here. Nicholas Solov, Red Bull Junior, pushing to get on the championship podium and try and help Campos Racing take the team championship. Of course, that result for Rafa Kamara not helpful for them in trying to win the team's championship either, as it appears. They're in a current fight with Campos Racing to try and win that for the second time. 19 points between them and Campos. That could very much change the complexion of how the rest of the weekend looks if Mari Boyer and Nicholas Solov now go and get a good result for Campos.
Yeah, that would be why when we saw the pit wall of Trident, they were looking very disappointed, like visually almost angry, I think, at Kamara. I don't know if they were angry, but disappointment certainly, because not only is it Kamara that, you know, they wanted to finish the season, or what's been such a dominant season on a high, but they need Kamara to be up there, really, to be scoring them points. And it's a lot of pride for these teams. You know, there's 3 cars, they go around Europe and the world racing these cars. They put a lot of effort in. It's a full-time job, if not more. It's more of a passion. And these teams, you know, they want to be able to say, we are the team's champion, and they want to also sell themselves to drivers of the future, to say we are the team to go with, so that one, they can get the best drivers, they can continue that success, and also potentially they could even charge a little bit more on the top for the privilege of the best team.
Exactly. Well, tracking that battle so far, and this in a comparison as we go green light, Sanapol and Chapupazak for Campos has just qualified second in his group. Rafa Kamara has qualified last. Now in this group, we've got Charlie Burtz and Noah Stromstead going out for Trident. And we've got Mari Boyer and Nicholas Solov going out for Campos. It's very much 1-0 to Campos. Qualifying to Campos, very much 1-0. Trident now need 5th and 6th in that timing tower. Stromstead and Burst to go and get some good results for them here, don't they? And Campos needs to take advantage even more. If they could have all 3 drivers in the top 12, that would be a superb day.
But, you know, I think it's Campos' consistency this year in that championship. We've seen Kamara run away with the Drivers' Championship, and he's given them the lion's share of their points, 156 going into this weekend of the total 256. But you look at second and third in the championship, Boyer and Solo, 108, 106 points, and 200 points between 2, and Campos have had a podium at every event, apart from 4th place in their best result in the first round of the season, and then the 4th place in the sprint race at Spa. So they've had a top 4 in every single event, with their highest score driver, and that many non-scores as well, as opposed to, you know, Trident, who have had a lot of wins in the features, but slightly less, you know, slightly less than maybe in their bottom.
They've never won a team championship in FIA Formula 3. It would mean a huge amount to them, and this will be a big moment for Fernando Barrichello. He has been a bit emotional coming into this weekend about this moment. We spoke to him about how it felt about coming into this weekend. Fernando Barrichello gearing up for his first qualifying session in FIA Formula 3.
You're here, and I recorded it and kept it on my phone, and every time I thought about it, I would watch it once, and so I've actually watched it. I told the team like a million times at this point. I took some notes from it. I like to do like a pre-event at home as well before we actually do the one with the team, just have everything nailed down and references and obviously what the, like I said, what the car needs from me. I can understand some things from home. So I've watched every race from the past years here, the qualifyings and everything. To be honest, I've done everything I can on the table to be prepared.
Fernando Barrichello, son of Rubens, who won his last Grand Prix here back in 2009. Loved the preparation. Watching that pole lap and putting the amount of effort he's already put into this. He is signed for next season. We should confirm along with Yevon David at AIX. So this is just the start of his journey, but he's put in a lot of work already.
Yeah, a lot of drivers will do similar levels of preparation in this championship. I mean, the young professional athletes, they'll use every bit of information to try and get their performance as high as possible, and it's stuff that, like Fernando Barrichello there mentioned, is like watching the starts back, so you can see how the flow of cars tends to go, where the pinch points are, and avoiding trouble. But also he mentioned watching the pole lap. Yes, we've got a new car for 2025 in this in the FIA Formula 3 Championship, but a lot of the same things will apply. You know, the lines through the corners will be very similar, the way the balance of the car is, the specific amount of curves, because this was only the second time we've run here with the reprofile curves and resurfacing, so seeing what curves to use, what curves to avoid will be a good starting point. And then the teams will do a build-up with or a preparation with the drivers as well. They're telling them about, you know, this is the philosophy we're going with the setup. These are how we see the weekend going. You know, the front left, for example, is going to be probably going to be or the rear left is going to be the tyre that goes away most, and stuff like that, because it's all helping the drivers build a picture of what the weekend's going to go like. And we have a traffic jam on the way down to Roger Chicane.
Well, no one wants to go by Nicholas Sonoff. Martin Stenchov is way past this. He is getting on with his own thing. It seems he's not there to play slipstream tag. He's going to go for it. So we head down to Parabolica. He wants to get at least 2 flying laps, and so does Gerard G, who had his best qualifying to the Hungarian, putting it on the second row. So one to watch in this qualifying session, perhaps, showing us putting it all together. Here comes Martini Stenchov. Up to the line now, will want to end his season on a high, fighting for the top 5 places in the championship, and heads down to the first one.
Not sure if this is going to be a build lap or a fast lap. DRS was open. Was going in fairly easily to turn 1. So another build.
Okay.
Yeah, second
dress rehearsal.
Yeah, second build lap. So it's just getting the tyres and brakes all up to perfect operating temperature. Stenchov clearly not interested in getting involved in any funny business in tows, as you mentioned, Gerard G. And then this is the funny business that we're referring to. Yes. A reminder, the reason these drivers are queuing up, they want to get a slipstream from the driver ahead, so that they can go much faster in a straight line due to the amount of flat up.
We are ready to anything, Charlie, yeah?
Rest of the group behind him. Charlie Burns is just getting ready for when he decides to put the loud pedal down, and he is placed in the middle of this group, ready for what should be 2 flying laps. They've gone a lot earlier this time, and Nicola Solov will lead the slipstream train down towards the Retafilo chicane as we are now at full racing speed.
How is it going, mate? Nobody wants to pass me.
True, no one does want to pass it. He's going to get a bank, but we're actually so far in this that we have time for the likes of Solo and to do a flying lap, a slow lap, and then a final flying lap. And then should get over the line with about 20 seconds to go at the final time on the end of the second lap, which will allow another go. So if you want to, you can try and drop back then. As we now ride on board with Martinez Stenchon for the high-tech TGR team, this will be a flying lap for Martinez, I imagine. Braking very hard down towards turn number 1, the Retafilo chicane. Little couple of bites at the cherry on the way in there, but looks pretty clean through there. Solid traction on the exit, and then completely flat out to the curve again.
Yeah, Martinez Stenchon taking us round. Just looking at the sector times coming in though up the road. Nicolas Solov has gone purple through the second sector. Ivan Dominguez going purple as well. This is the view of Martinez Stenchon though, taking us through the next game. This is where track limits were done. Oh, now that was close. That looked like track limits to me, Fitz.
Yeah, that looked like almost a carbon copy of what Rafa Kamara did in that first session. So that I expect this lap time to be removed
deleted,
from Martinez Stenchon, which is, again, an important reason why Stenchon has gone early, and he'll have another second, or maybe even a third opportunity to set a faster time than this one, because this lap will almost certainly be deleted. As at the front of the field, at 38.9 goes Solov. Stromstead beats it initially with 38.664, so still slightly slower than session 1 at the moment.
Yeah, their time to beat is a 1:38.613, so we're very close. As Stromstead, that's the key time needed for Trident. Stenchon, meanwhile, is taking us down to Parabolica.
Yeah, big braking zone down towards Parabolica once again. You have to carry so much speed in, but try not to hurt the exit, because it's a fairly decent run up to the start-finish line. That looked clean enough from Stenchon. Rear of the car, very much settled. Just struggling with a bit of understeer in the middle of the corner, then back to the right-hand side to shorten the line. This lap will pop up to the top of the times, or somewhere near the top. Stenchon, actually, no, 12th place, 39.5, but the lap time will get the leader line almost certainly, so he'll have to go again. You can see drivers dropping off, realising they do have time to drop back and try and go again, but Mari Boyer on a flyer.
Yep, so Stromstead from Noel Leon, from Zairfield now, Mari Boyer, Verts and Solov, your top 6. Some of them might have time to slot in and go again for one more, but Mari Boyer is deciding to go this time. He is putting in some very good sector times as we head up towards Ascari, and there is the time deletion confirmed for Martinez Stenchon at the top of the screen. Mari Boyer now making his way through Ascari and down towards Parabolica. This looks good. He's done it. Oh, and Nicolas Solov's no time for him either. Wow, that's 2 of the top 3 in the championship with no time. Mari Boyer coming into the final corner, and he's carrying a bit of damage, Piers.
Yeah, looks like one of the bolts on his side pods come out. Look on the left-hand side of the halo there, flapping bodywork. That won't help his straight line speed, but he's got an absolutely monumental toe from Louis Sharp. That puts him top of the times for now.
Wow, 1:38.604 for Charlie Burns, who goes to overall pole position. Charlie Burns to the top, but that's immediately beaten by Tuka Tapanen, who goes fastest with a 1:38.502.
But as things stand, that's not quicker than Ugo Gachuru's time. Yes, it is. 1:38.502, quicker than a 1:38.613. So Tapanen has provisional pole position as things stand.
Affecting it.
Yeah, no doubt that will be affecting him. That will be causing a lot of drag that's unnecessary.
Flags out.
First lap from Boyer. He's currently sitting 4th in this group, and you can see on the left-hand side.
Looks
top.
good,
Yeah, you can see that will be distracting right in the corner of his vision. Just with the bolts holding down the bodywork coming loose there.
Now Solov is on another flying lap and needs to improve, otherwise he'll be next to Rafa Kamara, the 2 most successful drivers in qualifying this season, on the back row. Who would have thought that? But he's done a 32.1 through the first sector. Currently, it'll be Tapanen to go and take pole position and take his first pole position in FIA Formula 3. But can Mari Boyer steal that as he comes through Ascari?
Yes, he's earned a decent lap, better in the second sector, but didn't have the advantage of the toe from Sharp like he did a lap ago. Sharp now getting the toe off Boyer, so I don't know if actually Sharp's on a fast lap at this stage, but he's got an opportunity to try and go quicker. into the final sector, flapping around. It won't be helping the stability of the car as well as it will affect the airflow over the rear end of the Dallara chassis. We come over the line now. Where will this put Boyer?
Up to the line he goes. It doesn't improve, but Brad Benavides going purple. We've seen him take a pole position.
Leon!
Will it happen? No, Leon now goes to pole position. Matthias Zagazeta second. Look in the background for the green livery there. And Brad
He's done it!
Benavides goes to pole position. The American driver for the second time this season.
And look at him, he's cheering, he knows what he's done a fantastic job. Brad Benavides, pole position for Monza, Leon second, Solo third, Zagazeta fourth, Tappenden fifth, all ahead of the field. Very good run on the board going into qualifying, but Brad Benavides has done it, as my camera's not working up here in the comms box.
The season here in FIA Formula 3 on pole position. No Leon in second place. Nicholas Solov crucially gets himself up into the top 6 places in third. Matthias Zagazeta fourth. Tuukka Tappinen in fifth. Martini Ascension will be on the front row for the sprint race tomorrow alongside Lorenz Van Hoopen. Nicholas Solov with a crucial improvement at the end and can go and help Campos Racing go and win the team's championship as well as secure second in the championship with Mari Boyer down in ninth. But it's a second Aramco pole position for Brad Benavides, a 138.12. He was 2/10 quicker than the rest of the field.
Mate, that is P1, mate, P1. And that is fastest as well, that is fastest.
I love you, Steve. I love you, Katie. I love you all. My command is this. Love each other. Thank you. God bless.
Good job, mate. That was purple sector 2 and 3, mate. Good job.
He was placed nicely there. He had put the car in a very nice position. Well done, AIX Racing. They put him in a very good position. And Brad Benavides, similar to what he did at Spa, took full advantage.
Yeah, unfortunately, Benavides is actually under investigation for not following race director's instructions about the rejoin. Didn't go over the yellow line. Looks fine to me.
Looks okay.
Yeah, maybe there was another instance, but yeah, we had a note from race control that he's been under investigation, but it'll be investigated after the session.
Yeah.
But still, I think he'll probably end up keeping that. That'll just be a slap on the wrist, I would imagine, in a qualifying session. But Benavides, another pole position for AIX. He can clearly pull out a lap out of the bag when he needs to, and this time, almost certainly we'll get the opportunity to go from pole. It doesn't look like we're going to be interrupted by the weather. Critically, in the championship, second place, Solon. Third place in this group, little starts.
What a roller coaster quali. First quali, one push. The other one, a lot of push.
Yeah.
Solov will start from fifth place, whereas his nearest rival Boyer didn't quite make it through to the sprint, reverse sprint either. He's down in ninth in this group, which will put him in 15th place, won't it?
Noel Leon's had a tough season, hasn't he? Down in 18th in the championship, but he will go off the second row tomorrow with Ugo Ugachuka going off the front row. Boyer has been noted for an unsafe, being released in an unsafe condition, and the team pointing to what that was for. I think we could see that just escalating throughout. So we'll see if that escalates any further. But what a session for Prema. Ugo Gachuku up there, no Leon up there as well. Solov third. Shout out to Matthias Zagazeta for Damza Kasoyo up there as well. Fourth place. First season for them, and they'll end with a driver up there.
Yeah, and he was strong in practice as well, so able to convert that pace in practice over to qualifying.
Well done to the Peruvian driver. He was on the podium last year at Silverstone. Can he get back there? Well, Brad Benavides will be on pole position tomorrow. He will start alongside Ugachuku. Noel Leon second, Nicholas Solov third. Matthias Zagazeta will be on row 4. Tuukka Tappinen on row 5. Martinez Stenchon will be on row 6 with Van Hoopen. And then Ivan Dominguez 7th in this group, Burt's 8th. Boyer 9th, so not good in terms of his chances for getting second in the championship. Stromstead 10th, then Niall, Sharp, Gerard G will take a 5th-place sprint from the sprint. Bruno Del Pino, Fernando Barrichello definitely looking competitive already. That is qualifying In terms of the sprint race tomorrow, the front row will be Martinez Stenchon and Lawrence Van Hoopen. That is our provisional result. And that sprint race will take place at 9:15 tomorrow here at Monza local time.
Well, what a session and what an atmosphere we've got building up. Thanks to you all for your company. It is pole position for Brad Bendivos. Bye-bye.